Eisenhorn Omnibus by Dan Abnett. I kind of forgot Dan Abnett. It was the first book I ever read from Warhammer, which was Horus Rising, right? Which is also from the same author. And it was good. Like, it was really good. I think that was actually one of my favorites so far. But after reading the next two books, Galaxy in Flames and what's the other one? False Gods. I kind of forgot how Dan Abnett writes, and especially in Eisenhorn, since it's more like a detective, darker vibe, and slower, less action, more descriptive language. Like, he describes in a very not complicated but very detailed way, in my opinion. It's I don't know how to explain this, because at first I was a bit annoyed. It was really hard to get through the sentences and like get through until something happens. In the short story, but especially in the next like full story, which was Xenos. And I was a bit disappointed because it just took me so long to get into the vibe and continue reading. I always only read like 5 pages and then gave up. And it's ridiculous because now that I finished Xenos, it was actually really good. Like, it was really, really enjoyable to read. Now, afterwards, once I got more into this like rhythm of how to read Dan Abnett's style of writing, I really appreciate it again because it is so detailed and so descriptive. And I am someone who reads fairly slow in general because I like to picture what I'm reading, and then I think about it, and I sometimes like stop reading and actively picture what's happening in my mind. And that's also why it took me so long, but in the end, I appreciate it because it helped me really visualize this part of Warhammer story and what was going on, and to get into the details, into the flesh of it. Really cool. So far, Xenos is, I think, really like 8.5 or 9 out of 10. Like, I don't have much to compare it with, right? I don't have that many books. I read two of both Mike Brooks books about orcs. It was Brutal Cunning and Gasrodraka, and both those books are fun. Like, they're enjoyable. They're fun, high energy, fast paced, not complicated to read. Then the Loken trilogy is fantastic when it comes to overall story and world building. And yes, character development as well a little bit, but it could go more into more detail in my opinion. But we're just I'm just starting, right? Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, coming from those books to a detective story that takes a lot longer to build up, it's hard to compare those and then to rate them properly. Overall, I would say Xenos, like I said, it's like a 8.5, 9 out of 10. Very high. It was a pretty cool story. It took me a while to get into, but that was probably more or less my own fault. The short story, the first one, Regia, Occulta, or whatever it's called. I don't know how to pronounce this, but yeah. I don't know. I can't really rate it. I would say 5 out of 10. And it's not because it's bad. And it's not because he wrote in a bad way. It's just I don't have any connection. Like, there's nothing for me to recognize from the world because I'm so new to Warhammer. There's no connection. Even if, like, it was nice to see an orc show up, I guess. But other than that, it was so short that I didn't really have time to... Like, I'm someone who gets really immersed. I also like very slow TV shows over movies because I need like this character detail. I need to get into it, into the world, learn as much as possible about characters and side plots and cities and locations, like all that kind of stuff. And there was just not enough. So all that being said, it is also one of the first short stories I've ever read. So it's just maybe a medium or style of format that I'm not used to. That's why I'm going to stay super neutral and say it's like, I can't really rate it. I also finished the third short story after, literally like 10 minutes ago. And that was named, let me check. I keep forgetting these names. Missing in Action. And because I read that so quickly after the main story Xenos, and because it's my second short story that I've read, I now have come to appreciate short stories a little bit more. And let me elaborate on that. So what I mean is, now that I know more about Eisenhorn and his team, where they come from, what they've been through, what kind of world they're in, like part of Warhammer world, what his job as an inquisitioner is, like I didn't even know what that is, right? So now that I know all that, the short story is kind of cool because it gives you a little bit more depth in a very light and fast kind of way. So now I appreciate it more. And now I think if I would read the first short story again, with that knowledge, I would probably also rate it higher. For example, why I like the second short story, Missing in Action, it shows you more, or gives you more of an idea of what this whole world is like. And I don't want to spoil anything for anyone who wants to read it, where it explains more why some characters or some worlds might behave the way they do. And all the tragedies and like what kind of setting this entire world is in, and all the perils that could potentially, you know, assail the humans or any other species in this universe. I don't know how to say this without spoiling anything, but whole point is it did give me some more context and I enjoyed it. Still, I don't know how to rate short stories. Like, there's not much to go on. It was good, it was solid, but it didn't blow my mind. So I don't know, like a 7 out of 10 or something. I don't know. I don't think I can really rate it. It was good though. So far, like, I'm excited for the next bigger stories. The next one will be Maleos. What do you guys think? Did you enjoy it so far? Don't spoil anything, please, for the rest of the stories. I'm going to try to read this book within the next, like, what, 1 or 2 weeks. As I said, I'm a slow reader and I have lots to do, but very, very enjoyable so far. And even a step, like, the Loken trilogy is a 10 out of 10 almost for me. Like, there's so much going on and shocking endings, and it's really, really interesting. I stopped reading at the 3rd book, even though I have Flight of Eisenstein, like, which is the next installment in the series, because I had to take a breather being thrown into the Horus Heresy and that entire lore, and then with that ending of book 3, yeah, I needed a break. So Eisenhorn is a really good point to read right now, or like a really good place to be. And I'm starting to really get into it, like the whole Inquisition and, you know, detective. It's not really horror, but it gives you more detail about the world with less fighting and action, which at first I thought it was a little bit boring or slow, but now I appreciate it. That's it. So full on ramble. I hope you could make some sense of this. I will keep you updated. As soon as I read the next one, I will review that one as well. Take care.